All right, it is November the 3rd. We have about 7 weeks of progress filmed to show you today. We got our permit approved on September the 12th. This footage starts around the end of October. And so I want to kind of give you a big update of everything that we've been doing from the building permit on. So we're going to pick up kind of at the end of demo and run through where we're at now and give you an idea of how much work we have to do in the final 4 weeks of true construction before we could quite possibly be open for the stroll on December 3rd. So let's roll. So now you can see this was the back area. There was a big concrete loading dock. There's been just a ton of concrete and dirt and asphalt to remove. So we had lots of outbuildings and structures and things to haul off. This is the engineered foundation. You can see where all the piers are going to be for the future addition for the basically the main entrance. So lots of rebar, lots of work, and here's some concrete. So yeah, the reason this is so kind of involved and heavy duty is because it's going to hold a lot of weight. We've got a big stucco storefront coming up there. Now you can see all of the structural framing. We had to do a lot of framing in this building. It was like a 100-year-old farmhouse or something that they moved here back in the day. We tried to salvage it because we didn't want to knock it down, and so ended up spending a whole bunch of money and doing just a bunch of engineered rough carpentry, which was a little tough. Now you can kind of see this is going to be the main exit and one of the main entrances actually. It's up on the north side of the property. We originally didn't plan on putting it there, but it worked out good. Kind of recommendation of the city. There's Reed and Colin prepping the back door for the glass guy. You can see, again, lots of framing, lots of decking on the floor now. Didn't really realize how much work it was going to be to convert a pier and beam house. Things here, structural beam right there. A pier and beam house into a kind of nice coffee shop, but it was pretty involved. Here is one of the restrooms, followed by another restroom, and our networking room and manager office will be here at the end. We will have a lot of networking thanks to Reed. The building is going to have every possible wire you could have to do every function you would ever need. So this is the back of house area, sinks, ice machines. We're going with reach-in coolers all in here. And then this is where staff are going to hop out. This will be a ramp. This is where we were planning on putting a walk-in cooler, but we ended up changing our minds later and just doing kind of like a pantry with reach-in coolers. We're able to make this one work with reach-in coolers. We will just learn as we go, but I think that's going to work just fine. So fireplace that you keep seeing, it's a full masonry fireplace, but we chopped it off at the decking of the roof, and we're just converting it to like an electric fireplace just for aesthetics, because we didn't want to deal with all the roof penetrations and flashing and such. So now you can see where we've been trenching for parking lot lighting. So you can see lots of cleanup has been done. It looks very different. Here's the first steps of framing the addition. It is quite large, and it's going to look really nice, kind of coming southbound on the interstate. You better look over and see our sign. This is Jamie Sandiford. Jamie's known me since I was a baby. So we're going through right now just reviewing the electrical plans and just marking on the wall where all the outlets and equipment and plugs and everything goes. It's easy to sometimes see it on the plans, but when you kind of walk through, we can kind of talk through, hey, also where we might need extra power. One thing we've learned is that you can never have enough outlets, and you're going to eventually change your mind and add power. There's that grand entrance coming together, looking quite large and majestic, and here is where the outdoor patio will be eventually. At this point, we were completely confused on what it'd be. You can see Reed and Jamie talking because we had to relocate electrical panels because sinks had to move, and when sinks are too close to electric, it's a no-go. So just some kind of audibles on the fly. Again, kind of spacing out the power because there's requirements of how far power is from the HVAC unit. There's our grease trap. So at this stage of the project, we had a jillion people on site every day, it seemed like, and just tons going on. The plumbers are there, the electricians are there, the framers are there, concrete guys, was just everybody kind of crashing it at once, thanks to our timeline. There's our friend Jamie again, spacing out all the can lights. We stuck a bunch of lights in the kitchen, so it's going to look great. You can also see we have that natural light right behind you that's going to be, right in front of the espresso machine. So it's going to be really nice to be working and be able to see outside. So if somebody has a complaint, they can just kind of mouth it through the window. There's I-35, the future front parking lot, the north parking lot for all the rest of the cars, and we're kind of waterproofed in and getting ready for stucco out here. And we have a long ways to go at this point, but it's still moving fast. All the decking is down, as you can see. At this point, framing is pretty much done inside. Kind of looked out, got a nice kind of open area there in the front where we just have a spanning beam. Here's the back addition for the drive-through. So this is where our automatic sliding window is going to be. Cars will pull through, pick up their beverage and fresh baked goodies from Mama Miller. And there's Reed on the phone again, where we were going to put a walk-in, but decided not to. Here's a look at all the conduit that we laid underground. We have lots of parking lot lighting. There's our grease trap again. And yeah, just kind of planning all that out. And you can see the first bit of concrete poured for our exit onto Church Street. One thing about this property that's awesome, we really lucked out, is we'll be able to exit and go either north or south on the interstate very easily. So that's a real positive. There's the old roof for one of the last times you're going to see it. There's Michael Mars, our architect, talking through just the end of the framing and how we're going to make the front door work with access control and everything else for a storefront entrance. Getting ready to pour more concrete. We have this huge front area that will be able to be seating outside for customers. Baker's walking in as if he's guilty. He's probably guilty. It's been a rough stage for him. So there is going to be our kind of ADA entrance right there for the handicap spots. And then here is the drive-through. So you got some lights, and you got this big structure that's going to be stucco just to kind of stand out, let people know it's there, and there'll be a little bit of shade to kind of keep you out of the rain. This is actually interesting. We had this huge sign there from, I don't know how old it was, but it was pretty ginormous, but it was out of sight. It didn't quite fit the branding we were going for, and we were able to find there was a crane operator working on a project down the street, and we were able to pay them to come over and help us torch this thing down and move it without getting somebody injured. So that was great and random. There's our first ever drive-through window, automatic. There's Reed working through the storefront. It's going to have access control, so it's a little more complicated than others. There's the pony wall for our main bar. There's a bunch of rebar right here for the front parking lot. At this point, I remember showing up, and there were literally, like, one morning I counted 22 people on the job. So things are moving. You can see all the duct work, HVAC's getting roughed in, electrical's getting all roughed in, and you can't see in this image, but a lot of the, oh, there's Colin. So we had a plumbing test on right there to kind of make sure there was no leaks. So pressure tests going on at the same time. So this is kind of the end of, yeah, the kind of the rough end stage of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and now kind of transitioning towards finishing the concrete and starting to work towards some of the other finishes. But a bunch of details and a bunch happened. That was probably the first, 4.5 weeks of the project. So it was crazy. Let's see. So yeah, lots of rebar, lots of concrete. A very large percentage of our overall budget is laying out there on the ground in the form of concrete. All the earthwork, site work, flat work, everything it was very expensive. So that's one part of the project that, as a percentage, is just pretty large. There's Colin sticking some of the RBO technology wires through to get the patio ready. Here is spray foam. We did closed cell on the walls because we didn't have much space. And as you can see, there, like a lot of the old, there's not like any sort of really weatherproofing on the exterior walls inside the rock. So by using closed cell foam on the outside, we were able to kind of achieve kind of a tight envelope and keep moisture control. And then in the top, we did open cell because we had the space, and closed cell wasn't necessary. But yeah, the whole building is foamed, new windows. As you can see, sheetrock is also in. We're currently, as we sit here, waiting to finish tape floating and texturing. But now we're just truly at the phase of the project where we're going to go from all of the really kind of messy, dirty parts. We got a few more pieces of concrete to pour and things like that. But now it's time to finish out. So tape float and texture this week. And then kind of in the next update videos, you're going to see we're going to be transitioning to trimming out the doors, finishing floors and tile work and all that kind of stuff, paint. And so it's going to really start looking like a real coffee shop here in the next couple weeks. So anyways, there's the update. That was a lot of information. Thank you for watching. That was just, 7 weeks of just spending all the money. So now we're down to, this is one of our last 3 true weeks of construction. So keep watching. Let us know if you have any questions, and we can't wait to share another update this week, because now things are going to be changing really fast, and there's lots of really cool parts as we get closer to installing equipment. So appreciate it.